Rob. As Jeff loads the presentation for the next session, which I'll actually lead, I'd like to say that you couldn't have provided a more perfect and smooth segue. I'll be presenting to you the very findings that were presented to the opposition party leader. Alrighty, thank you. And I haven't had the time to just point out so many in this audience who have contributed so much to the project that we are about to describe. If I took the time to go around, we wouldn't talk about any of the substantive research. There are just so many of you here, and it's a delight to see you. What I'd like to do in the next few minutes is to give you just a quick snapshot of the Knowledge, Impact and Society project, and then highlight the research priorities that have been identified as a result of this research. As you've heard, we're working with Eastern Ontario, and in fact we're working with many communities in Canada and beyond. The focus is to bring together faculty and students and staff representing multiple disciplines, multiple departments here at Queen's and at other universities. And I'm thrilled to have, for instance, a colleague right here, Dr. Blake Palmer, who's worked closely with us on several projects to bring these academics to your communities. And it's been a delight to serve you locally, regionally, and globally. The Knowledge, Impact and Society project that we're studying and examining today began 2 years ago, and we have accomplished so much through your collaboration and cooperation. The focus is moving academic research into Eastern Ontario communities, focusing on rural communities and serving these communities through the academic contributions. It's a $300,000 initiative, totally funded by SSHRC, which is why we've been able to come to communities at no charge to communities and try to add value. The key collaborators have been Pella CFDC. We saw Craig Desjardins here a moment ago, and without his support, I would certainly not be here today with a story like the one we have to present. The Eastern Ontario CFDC network has come alongside us, and several, as you'll see in a moment, over 30 local, regional, provincial, and federal partners. You, the community, are the lifeblood of the project. I can't go through all of the names, but let me just say, as you'll see, that we have individual businesses who partner with us, we have associations who partner with us, we have clearly our representatives of the Eastern Ontario community, we have other universities, we have municipalities and townships and counties who are partnering with us, the Ontario East Economic Development Commission, the Warden's Caucus, the Ontario Eastwood Centre we'll be hearing a great deal about in just a moment, Queen's departments, health-related, TORC, which has become ROI, as you just heard, and it's just a delight. Together, we have worked to assist Ontario communities in a number of ways. At this time, I'm just going to showcase the discovery workshops, and I'll explain what they involve and the impact they've had. Throughout the day, you'll see other elements of the Knowledge, Impact and Society project and how they have contributed to our communities. I should mention that we don't have today showcase of faculty research. However, we have several of you in our midst, and in fact, we are privileged to be able to give new ideas to faculty who go into communities, explore those ideas as we heard, and develop, we believe, more rigorous and relevant research as a result of the partnerships. That's one thing that I would invite you to go to our website to get more information on. What are these discovery workshops? As Dr. Gallup was describing, we used decision support technology to go across Eastern Ontario, focusing on rural communities to identify what their burning issues were and are. So what are the economic development issues that are hindering the growth the resilience of these communities, and also to identify how the university community could address questions that the economic developers, the business planners, the politicians, the leaders have. So it was an experience of sharing mutual experiences and listening to our community partners. In the KIS project, we've completed 15 workshops. They're listed there before you. We have an upcoming workshop that we are trying to arrange, and if you have links with the Thousand Islands community and can help us to connect with this community, we would be privileged. Every other Eastern Ontario CFDC community has been visited, and we have listened. And we have responded by sending students, by sending information, by creating projects in your communities where you have identified research needs. We are very, very grateful to OMAFRA. OMAFRA heard about what we were doing in the KIS project, and through their partnership with the University of Guelph, encouraged us or allowed us to work with Dr. Wayne Caldwell there, and they funded a one-year extension of this KIS project in southwestern Ontario. We call it the Rural Research Priorities Project, and that's what Mr. Black just alluded to. And that allowed us to go to another 8 communities in southwestern Ontario, also listed there before you. You can see it's a really informal, fun, but high-intensity time. And it takes about 2 to 3 hours of just interacting. We bring a variety of community representatives, a variety of academics together, and sparks fly. And we record the conversation and the suggestions received. In particular, I'm focusing today on 2 questions that we ask and sets of responses received. What are your economic development and community challenges? So what are your issues? That's the question, that's the first one. And the second is, if you had access to a researcher for a year, what question would you ask them to pursue? What would you ask them to study? So there are 2 things. One is issues, and the second is questions. With respect to issues, here are some of the findings, and these are findings then that would have been provided to the opposition leader. Burning issues or limitations of our rural regions. If we look at the overhead here, you'll see Eastern Ontario is the middle column, Southwestern Ontario is your far right column, and on your far left, we've combined the results and ranked the issues all across Southern Ontario. So within Eastern Ontario and Southwestern Ontario, you'll see consistently that retaining our youth is our #1 challenge. Keeping young talent is a challenge. As we move through the issues that were prioritized, and these were voted on very quickly using the brainstorming and decision-making technology, you'll see that skills training, education issues were very, very important in Eastern Ontario. They were about #6 in Southwestern Ontario. In Southwestern Ontario, unlike